This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Clone Wars Wild Space. And if you're wondering where the Dark Nest one is, I just don't have time to record that right now. But going into this one specifically, Wild Space, it's a weird one. It is set around what is currently ranked as my 8th least favorite arc of Clone Wars, which is the one where R2 goes missing, but it's just more or less set around that. It's not a super big thing, but it focuses on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Bail Organa's first real meeting and their friendship being made. I remember that this is mentioned in the Clone Wars Gambit novels, which I did review earlier this year. I can't remember if I accidentally said in that if that was their first meeting or if I like them truly making their friendship, but it seems this is where their friendship began, and honestly, it's a solid novel. It is. It's just really weird because these Clone Wars novels seem like some of the darkest and most mature storylines in Star Wars, where Obi-Wan's basically having to deal with mental insanity from a Sith holocron in this, and him going on like crazed murder sprees as this hologram tries to drive him crazy, but it's just insane that this is what's going on because, as I said, with the Clone Wars Gambit novel, that novel was dark, and the next one I have to talk about, which will be next week, which is No Prisoners, also gets to some more mature but not as dark things. But yeah, this one, honestly, it is a solid novel, and it's mainly a sort of like stranded storyline where, or outcast storyline, kind of, where there's a crash and the surviving crew has to try and make it out. But this one is focused on two characters, which is interesting. It does have a few parts where it goes to a bunch of random characters, and a sort of like stupid inclusion because, well, one, they never went anywhere with this, and we know that nothing ever happens with it because we still think Palpatine's like, maybe I could force an affair between Padme and Bail Organa, but never really had the implication between those two characters in the show in any movie, and I don't know, I just felt like the author may have made a miscalculation in that specifically. But yeah, besides that, the story was solid. I think that it was interesting to see with Obi-Wan going and being in this just interesting situation. And yeah, honestly, it was interesting to see. I think that Obi-Wan was a solid character in this, and him sort of losing it was interesting to see. Bail Organa was also very interesting to see him, and their friendship was a interesting start, and honestly, it's a solid novel. As I said, it's a little weird that it's set between just right before the first episode in that R2 goes missing arc, and then it ends just before the start of the second episode. So it takes place over a few days, and I don't know, I felt like that first episode felt like it only took like a day or two to go over in terms of time. And yeah, honestly, really that's all I have to say. As I said, it's a solid story, and I did enjoy it, but it also has this odd thing with a timeline where I think even in modern canon, it's assumed that there's a few months between the events of Attack of the Clones and the start of the Clone Wars movie. But in this, it says it's only like a few weeks. So I don't know. I feel like that just felt like a really weird thing in timeline. I'm glad that it was eventually changed. But yeah, honestly, this is very clear. It was written very early into the Clone Wars, but it still is a solid novel. And it was also great to listen as an audiobook because probably never thought of getting it otherwise. And main reason I got it was because of that Audible like Cyber Week sale. And one last thing I want to mention, which I noticed right before I was about to go and export this because I was grabbing the picture for the thumbnail. They had the stupidest choice for a cover where this is a book focused on Bail Organa and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the cover is Captain Rex and a bunch of clone troopers. I don't know why they chose this as the cover. It is one of the stupidest decisions because I don't even think Rex appears in this novel at all. So, and if he did, it was for maybe like a scene or like a few pages. But yeah, honestly, it's just completely a stupid decision for that to be the cover. But besides that, I enjoyed this and thought it was, as I said, it was a solid novel. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.